but he was cut, relatively speaking. Not chiseled like David Beckham on the cover of the Vanity Fair magazine that Jilly insisted remain on the back of their toilet, but the kind of sinewy build befitting a furniture maker. "Knock it off!" called Jilly from the depths of the refrigerator, not needing to see them to know they were up to no good. Toting a bowl of her homemade guacamole, she spooned a dollop for Ben and asked him what it needed. Judging from her slight, athletic, yoga-toned build, she did not indulge in chips and dip, or most of the rest of the birthday party smorgasbord. Fred, on the other hand, not only had the gut to prove he never met a snack he did not like, but also the guts to scoop guacamole from the bowl with his fingers right in front of Jilly. "Watch it, Fredo." The kitchen fell silent. Fred had been called a lot of names in his day, and deservedly so, but the one that set him off was Fredo, the bumbling Corleone brother from The Godfather. Ben remembered sharing this nugget with Jilly one night while watching their favorite movie, then immediately regretting it. Fred shot Jilly a cold stare. Jilly set down the bowl of guacamole. "Uh-oh," Ben thought. "Here it comes." She placed her hands on her hips and stood slightly taller. She tilted her head just a hair to the right and pursed her lips. She narrowed her eyes and flared her nostrils and, wait for it, bam! The gaze of truth. Inexplicable yet infallible, the gaze of truth was a mystical gift, a tractor beam to the soul that allowed Jilly to see through the eyes, past the mind, and into the heart. Ben so named it after she used the gaze to bust him for lying about Fred's paying a hooker for Ben's bachelor party, though Jilly was so pleased to learn that Ben lied to the guys about screwing the whore that she rewarded him with sex every day for a month. That was 15 years ago. Ben subsequently concocted a fib in an effort to earn the coveted reward again. However, when the gaze sussed out his true intentions, he paid a dear price and went a full month without. The gaze of truth clouded the clearest of vision, calling certainty into doubt and twisting answers into questions into answers. She does not know. Does she? How does she? She does know. Confessions inevitably ensued. Over the years, Ben had attempted to counter the gaze by shutting his eyes, donning sunglasses, even childishly covering his face with his hands like the monkey who sees no evil. But there is no shield for the gaze, no lead to its kryptonite. Ben tried on more than one occasion to turn tail and run, but once the gaze is fixed, it's over. The only feasible defense is to master the gaze oneself, to use the force against the enforcer. And yet Ben, like young Luke Skywalker, proved too impatient to harness the gaze. Fred never knew what hit him. "I'm sorry, Jilly, that was not cool of me to scoop your guac with my fingers," Fred apologized. "Also, it was not cool of me to brown down in your toilet and not flush it. But I thought it would be funny for Benny to find it later. I see how you might not find the humor in that, so I am going to go ahead and flush that. But rest assured I did wash my hands thoroughly after laying pipe in your bathroom and before finger-scooping your guac, which is phenomenal, as always." Her work here was done. Jilly disappeared like a superhero splitting the scene, though only into the next room to help Ben's mother, Patty, finish stuffing and sorting 22 goodie bags. It had been just 4 months since Ben and Jilly had moved their family from New York City back to the Central California hometown where they had both grown up. Tommy had not yet whittled down a core group of friends, and he didn't want to leave anyone out, so every student in Mr. Austin's kindergarten class received an invitation. Jilly figured a handful of kids wouldn't make it owing to basketball, family commitments, or parents who would find an excuse not to spend $20 on a gift for a kid they didn't know. And yet, save for one kid named Dakota Callison, every single classmate RSVP'd. Ben lugged a cooler out to the patio, where he caught wind of his older son Andrew before he